Welcome everybody to a Kuta worksheet tutorial. We're doing a geometry principle, properties of trapezoids today. Now we're going to learn the properties as we go through these numbers, so let's explore the first one here. Now it's giving us a question mark on an angle. What we need to know for the properties of trapezoids to solve this first problem is that trapezoids always have only one set of parallel lines. Now, what does that do for us in this problem? Well, if we have parallel lines, that would make this line a transversal cutting through those lines. What that does is it creates two interior angles, same side interior angles, that are going to be supplementary. So these two angles are going to add up to 180. So 65 plus our question mark is going to be equal to 180 degrees. So all we need to do each time is solve for the missing angle. We can call it x. So then we have x equals 180 minus 65. In this case, x is going to be equal to 115 degrees. It's going to be the same thing over here. Well, we need to identify our parallel lines first. You just have to go based on appearances for this one. So then we have 180 minus 92. So we have x plus 92, if you want to put it into equation form. Minus 92, that's going to give us minus 92, we get x equals 88 degrees. And that's all we do for each one. This one is a special trapezoid called an isosceles trapezoid. That means it has two congruent legs. These are called legs. Whereas the parallel sides are called the bases. So that's a base, that's a base. And I should really draw an arrow over here to say legs. Okay. What's special about this one is that's also 60, and because this is supplementary, that's 120, and that's also 120. We only need to know this one, but this is just an FYI for the future. This is another isosceles trapezoid, and you're probably thinking, oh, I only know that this side's supplementary. But like I told you before, that's 70, that means that's 110, and this is also 110, so we have our answer that way. And again, the process I'm using is 70 plus our missing angle x has got to be equal to 180. Okay, find the length of diagonal indicated for each trapezoid. Now, a special property for isosceles trapezoids is actually the same as one of the properties for rectangles, and that's diagonals are congruent. So we know that KL is going to be equal to KM is going to be equal to JL. Okay, diagonals are congruent. Diagonals are the lines that cross through the inside to arrive at the opposite vertex. If we know KM is 22, that means JL is also going to be 22. Okay, DF equals 8.7, so EG is going to be equal to 8.7. That's, fairly simple. The diagonals are congruent. Find the length of the median of each trapezoid. What you do here is a median. This is the mid-segment, okay? It really should have shown this. I don't know if it doesn't show it. So let me change this actually. So this is what we need to know is we need to know that this B is the midpoint between WX and A is the midpoint between U and V. So with that information, we know that let's see, let me write it this way. Mid-segment is going to be equal to 1/2 the length of base 1 plus base 2. In this case, the mid-segment is AB. I'm going to change the color on this just so you can see, like, this is the formula, I guess you can say. So AB is going to be equal to 1/2. One of the bases, we'll call base 1 the small one, VW, plus the big base UX. Now, why is this the formula right here? This is the mid-segment formula because essentially what we're doing, if it's a mid-segment halfway between the two bases, half the length of the two bases, then this segment AB is essentially the average between the two bases. So we have two bases here. Okay, we add their lengths together, divide by 2. We're finding the average between the two, and it's going to give us exactly in the middle, and that's what it is. It's a line that's exactly through the middle, midpoint on both sides, so it's half the length of the sum of the two bases. It's the mid-segment, okay? The average, the middle. I don't know how else to put it. So let's go ahead and input our values. I'm going to change it to green. So we have AB is our missing value. We can just leave it as AB, I guess. I'm going to change it to purple. I don't know why I'm changing the color so many times, but I am. Now we know the values of VW, it's 9, and then UX is 13. And we get 9 plus 13 is, I don't know about you, but the answer is 22. And then we get AB. And then AB, 1/2 times 22 is 11 units. And there we go. That's our mid-segment. We can do the same thing here. This one's going to be better served with a calculator. So we know WV is going to be 1/2, 5.5, our base 1, plus base 2, 12.9. 5.5 plus 12.9, I get 18.4. And we still have to do, you can also put it as divide by 2. Let me show you that a different way. So if you don't like the times 1/2, which some of my students don't like, you can also think of it as the two bases added together divided by 2. And that's going to be equal to WV, our mid-segment. This is our mid-segment. Well, it's not broken up like that. It's like a straight line. Oh, that bothers me a little bit. Let me try that again. There, that's a little bit better. Okay, so then we just divide that by 2 and we get 9.2 equals WV. Okay, this part's a little cooler. Find the length of the base indicated for each trapezoid. This time it gives us the mid-segment. Okay, well, I should just leave it as purple. And now we have to find one of the bases. So we just have to kind of go backwards here. So there's one of our bases, and now we have to find it. So we have 19, or sorry, let me just copy and paste this one. So we have this formula here, copy, erase this, paste. Okay, we're going to plug in what we know. We know the mid-segment is 19. We know it's equal to 1/2. The base 1, we know base 1 is 13, plus base 2. We don't know base 2. I'm going to call it DG because that's what it's called. Oops, that's kind of ugly. Purple. All right, so now what we need to do is we need to solve for DG. So we have to go in reverse. I'm going to go blue. Now, one of the first things you should probably do is multiply both sides by 2. So whether or not you're multiplying by 1/2 or dividing by 2 for the whole thing, that's going to be your first step. So we get 38 equals, and this gets rid of the fraction because those cancel each other out. That was the whole point in multiplying by those numbers. So we get 13 plus DG, and then we just simply subtract by 13 to both sides, and we get 25 equals DG. So it's not bad. You just have to go in reverse. So it's a good algebra practice. Same thing here. We're going to have 5.5 equals. I'm going to write it a different way this time. Base 1, 4.4, plus Vy, our base 2, divided by 2. First thing you're always going to do, if you're solving for one of the bases, in this case we are, and we're given the mid-segment, is you're going to multiply by 2. And the reason why you do this is so you can cancel out. And then you're going to be left with 4.4 plus Vy, and that's going to be equal to, what is that, 11? And then we subtract by 4.4, so we have 11 minus 4.4. And we get 6.6. And minus 4.4. Whoops, sorry. I meant to do this. Minus 4.4. And we get 6.6 equals Vy. Forgot my stem. There we go. So that's equal to Vy. We're going to get into some algebra at this point. So these ones are exactly the same way, except now we have algebraic expressions. I'll show you how to do a couple of them, but it's the same process. Now we just have like one more step at the end. So here's our mid-segment, Mn. We already know that Mn is going to be equal to 11 plus 17, our two bases added together, divided by 2. This time we know that negative x plus 21 is equal to Mn. So it's not just x, but negative x plus 21. And that's going to be equal to, what is that? 11 plus 17 is 28 divided by 2. So we have negative x plus 21 equals 14. So now we just need to solve for x. I'm going to subtract by 21 here. And I get negative x equals negative 7. So x, I'm going to divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1. Or you can multiply negative 1, depending on what your preference is, and we get x equals 7. Now if it asked for the length, then that would be easy enough. We wouldn't really need to worry about this. We would just do it how we did before, or we could plug in this into here when you get 14, just as we got here. Okay. Here we go. This one's a little difficult. We have to solve for the base. So we have our mid-segment. This is our mid-segment. 29 is going to be equal to base 1, 23, plus base 2. I should have left that green. Let me do that. 23 plus base 2 divided by 2. So our base 2 this time is 11x plus 2. First thing I would always recommend doing is multiplying both sides by 2 to get rid of that, the fraction. So now we have 29 times 2, that's equal to 58, equals 23 plus, and I'm going to leave this in blue just so you see it, 11x plus 2. That's our base 2. We subtract both sides by 23. That should give us, what, 25? No, it's more than 25, isn't it? Really not thinking straight at the moment. 35, geez Louise. Don't judge me. So we have 35 equals 11x plus 2. We're going to subtract 2 from both sides. We get 33 equals 11x. We're looking good at this point. Divide by 11, divided by 11. We get x equals 3. Okay, so x equals 3. If we needed to find the actual length, we could just plug it in. We'd get 33 plus 2, and that's 35. We got that here. So that was our base, but now we know the value of x. Okay. Just like a few more, because all of them are the same example, pretty sure. So we have these two diagonals are going to be congruent. Only for isosceles trapezoids, it needs to have these two legs congruent. But we know these two are going to be equal to each other, so we're going to set 20 equal to 5x minus 10. We're going to add 10 to both sides to solve for x. Get x by itself. 30 equals 5x divided by 5 divided by 5. We get x equals 6. Okay, asking to solve for x, we're done. These two, as we said earlier, are supplementary. So this plus this equals 180. 11x plus 8 plus 95 equals 180. Okay, we're going to combine like terms first. We get 95 plus 8. 95 plus 8 equals 103 equals 180 plus 11x. We're going to subtract 103 from both sides, and we get 77. So 77 equals 11x. That's minus 103, minus 103. Divided by 11, divided by 11. To both sides, get x by itself. X equals 7. All right. And then this one is the same thing. We have an isosceles trapezoid, so the setup here, I'm not going to solve it, but 51 plus, this is also 28x minus 11 is going to be equal to 180. Okay, that's the setup there. Find the length. This is just the one step further that we're talking about. We have to move this over here, or not move it over there, but we know that it's the same value, so 12x minus 28. And why do we know that? These are parallel, these are all trapezoids, and these are congruent legs. So now we have that these two angles are supplementary, so we have 12x minus 28 plus 5x plus 38 equals 180. A little bit different, just a little bit more combining of terms. We have these two that are the same. So we have, let me combine them, 17x, right? 17x. Then we have these two that are the same. Plus 10. Yep, plus 10 equals 180. We're going to subtract 10 from both sides. We get 170 equals 17x. Divide by 17. And we get x equals 10. But that's not what it's asking. It's asking for the angle indicated. So we need to plug this back in for x. Measure of angle v. So if we're looking for angle v, that's here. We're going to plug this in for x. And we get 5 times 10 plus 38. 50 plus 38. V equals 88 degrees. Okay, so that's how you do these ones. You're going to add those together equal 180. And then find the length of the base indicated for each trapezoid. Find VU. Okay, so we're looking for that small base. We know that this base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2 is going to equal the mid-segment. So mid-segment equals B1 plus B2 divided by 2, or times 1/2, however you want to think of it. So 7x minus 4 equals 38 plus 6x minus 6 divided by 2. This is our last one. Multiply both sides by 2. This is a good problem because we need to distribute here. So we have 14x minus 8 equals 38. This canceled. 38 plus 6x minus 6. I'm going to combine terms on the same side. First, 32 plus 6x equals 14x minus 8. I'm going to subtract 6x from both sides. Get the x's together. That's always a smart decision first. Equals 32. I'm going to add 8 to both sides. I get 40 equals 8x. I'm divided by 8. Divided by 8. I get x equals 5. Okay, I'm not done. I have to plug this in to find VU. So I need to plug it in here. I get 6 times 5 minus 6. 30 minus 6 equals 24. So VU equals 24 units. That's all I have for today. Hope you guys learned something. Hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to watch future videos, comment if you have a question, and I'll see you next time on Wes Explains Best.